You were having one of those days. Maybe you were sitting on the floor, maybe on the couch, quiet, not fully there, not crying, just not okay. And then your dog came over. No one called them. No signal you were aware of. They just showed up and sat beside you, leaned into your leg, or rested their head on your knee. And something inside you shifted. Most people in that moment think, that was sweet. They knew I was upset, and then they move on. But what actually happened in that moment, the science behind it, the biology, the thousands of years of evolution that made it possible, is something most dog owners have never been told. And once you understand it, you won't experience that moment the same way again. Stay until the end, because the final behavior on this list is the one that changes everything. Your dog didn't come to you by chance. They detected you, specifically, precisely, using systems so advanced that researchers spent decades questioning if they were even real. Today, we're going through 12 things your dog does when you're sad. What each behavior is, what science says about why it happens, and what it actually reveals about how your dog experiences you. Some of these will surprise you. One of them might make it hard to look at your dog the same way again. Let's begin. 1. They come to you without being called. You didn't ask. You didn't make a sound they could react to. You were just there quiet, distant, not okay, and they came anyway. Most people see this and think they could tell. They just knew, and that's true. But how they knew is where it becomes remarkable. A 2018 study from the University of London placed dogs in a room with their owner and a stranger. Both the owner and the stranger took turns humming softly and then crying. When either person cried, the dogs not only approached that person far more often, they crossed a physical barrier to reach them faster than they did during the humming condition. The dogs weren't reacting to their name. They weren't following a command. They were responding to distress. In a stranger just as much as their owner. And they moved toward it. Every time, your dog doesn't come over when you're sad because they happen to be close. They come because they detected a specific signal. A shift in the cortisol scent your body releases under stress. A subtle change in your vocal tone, even when you're silent. A difference in your posture. And their nervous system answered that signal with one clear instruction. Go. Be with them. Now. 2. They press their body against yours and stay. Not a quick nudge. Not a light brush as they pass. They press. They lean their full weight into you and hold it there. And here's what that contact is actually doing. Research on human-animal touch consistently shows that physical contact with a bonded dog measurably lowers cortisol, the main stress hormone, in the human receiving it. Heart rate slows. Breathing deepens. The body begins to come out of distress. Not because the problem is fixed, not because anything outside has changed, because a warm, living body is pressed against yours and your nervous system reads that as safety. And here's the part most people miss. The dog is also experiencing a drop in cortisol during that contact. The comfort isn't one way. Your dog isn't giving up their calm to create yours. Both of your nervous systems are regulating together. Your dog doesn't lean into you because they were taught to. They do it because something in them, something ancient, biological, and completely genuine, pulls them toward the person they are most bonded to when that person is in distress. That's not affection as an idea. That's affection as a physical response. 2 down, 10 to go. Three, the chin rest. Your dog walks up and gently rests their chin on your knee, or your hand, or the edge of the couch where you're sitting, and they keep it there. Most people think this is just closeness, just the dog wanting to be near you. But the chin rest is more specific than simple proximity. Studies on dog behavior during human emotional distress show that the chin rest, this exact gesture, this precise placement of their head in your lap, happens significantly more often during moments of human emotional pain than during neutral or positive states. It's not a greeting. It's not an invitation to play. Dogs don't usually rest their chin on you when you're laughing, energized, or completely fine. They do it when you're not okay. And while they're doing it, they look up. That upward gaze during the chin rest isn't random. The dog is tracking you, watching your face for subtle changes, shifts in tension around your eyes, small signals that your state is getting better or worse. The chin rest isn't passive comfort. It's active attunement, ongoing, responsive, and adjusted to how you're feeling in real time. They're not just sitting with you. They're reading you, constantly, with full focus, from just inches away. 4, they look at you, and they don't look away. When you're sad and your dog sits beside you and holds your gaze, something is happening that most people feel as comfort without understanding the biology behind it. Sustained, gentle eye contact between a dog and their bonded human triggers oxytocin release in both. This is well established in research. But what's less known is that this response becomes even stronger when one of you is in emotional distress. The bonding chemistry increases exactly when one of you is hurting. Your dog doesn't hold eye contact because they're gathering information for something else. They look at you because you are where their attention goes. And when you're in distress, that attention becomes stronger than almost any other time. Research shows that dogs maintain eye contact for noticeably longer during human crying and emotional withdrawal than during neutral states. They watch you more when you're hurting, not because they're alarmed, because they're present, fully, completely, steadily present for as long as it takes. And the remarkable part is that they do this without training, without being told, without anyone teaching them that when the person they love is in pain, the right thing to do is stay close and keep watching until it passes. They just know. Five, they bring you something. It's one of the most well-documented and most misunderstood behaviors dogs show when humans are sad. Your dog goes off to find something, a toy, a ball, something soft, sometimes something completely random, and brings it back to you. They place it in your lap or at your feet, and then they pause. No humping, no insistence on play. They just watch you. This is not a play invitation. The body language is entirely different. Play comes with high energy, bouncing, the classic play bow. This behavior is slower, intentional, quiet. The dog sets the object down and waits. This traces back to social bonding patterns seen across canines. Bringing a valued object to a distressed member of the group is a form of appeasement and connection, a physical signal that says, I may not understand this, but I want to give you something. It's the most generous act they know. They reach into their world for the best thing they have, and they offer it to you. Not to fix anything, not because they want to play, but because they want to bring something to you in that moment. And if you accept it, even just holding it briefly, the dog notices. Their expression softens. Something in them settles when the offering is received. 6, they lower their energy to match yours. This one is subtle, and most people completely miss it. When you're sad, your dog becomes quieter, less excitable, less demanding. The usual excitement they show at the door, in the kitchen, softens into something calmer. This is emotional contagion. And in dogs, it's not just an idea. It's a measurable biological response. Research shows that dogs around a distressed owner display clear changes in arousal, shifts in heart rate, behavior, and stress hormones that align with the emotional state of the human they're bonded to. They don't just notice your sadness. They feel something because of it. And there's a difference between emotional contagion, sharing what someone else feels, and empathic concern, which is feeling it and then responding in a way that helps. Dogs show both. They absorb the weight of your mood, and they stay with you in it, quieter than usual, closer than usual, not trying to distract you, not trying to pull you out of it, just staying there, whatever that looks like. And that's not a small thing. Seven, they lick you when you're sad. When your dog licks your hand or your face while you're crying or clearly distressed, most people see it as simple affection. Just your dog being your dog. But the chemistry behind that lick is far more specific. A dog's tongue contains chemoreceptors that can detect the chemical makeup of whatever it touches. When they lick your skin during emotional distress, they're picking up elevated cortisol and adrenaline in your sweat. They're reading your emotional state directly through your body chemistry. And there's more. Human tears carry a distinct chemical profile, a specific mix of cortisol and proteins that dog can detect through scent even before a tear is visible. Research shows that dogs orient toward and approach crying humans partly because of this chemical signal, not just what they see or hear. They can sense that you're crying before you make sound, before the first tear reaches your face, and they move toward you. The licking during sadness isn't random. It's your dog's most direct biological response to distress, taking in the full chemical signal of your emotional state, while at the same time providing physical contact that helps lower your cortisol. They are reading you and helping you at the exact same moment. 8. They follow you everywhere, closer than usual. On a normal day, your dog follows you from room to room because you are their anchor. Where you go is where they want to be. But on a sad day, that following changes. It becomes tighter, more frequent, more persistent. They're less willing to stay behind when you move. Research on proximity-seeking behavior in dogs shows that during human emotional distress, dogs don't just follow more. They stay closer, maintain more contact, and check in more often than they do under normal conditions. They don't just follow you more. They quietly watch over you more. When you go into the bedroom, they wait by the door. When you close the bathroom, you see paws underneath. When you come back out, they're right where you left them, reacting as if you'd been gone far longer than you were. This kind of following, the version tied to distress, isn't about their own need for closeness. It's about yours. They stay near because you're the one who's hurting. And as long as that's true, they're not leaving. Nine, they sleep pressed against you. On the kind of day where the only thing you can do is lie down, your dog doesn't go to their own bed. They come to yours, and they press into you, not next to you, against you. Research on recovery during rest shows that physical contact with a dog changes the outcome in measurable ways compared to resting alone. Cortisol drops more quickly. Oxytocin increases. The quality of rest, not just how long you rest, but how deeply, improves when a warm, living body is in contact with yours. Your dog seems to understand this on some level, because on sad days, bonded dogs have been observed sleeping closer, maintaining more physical contact, and staying longer than they do under normal conditions. They're not making a conscious choice. They're responding to the signals your body is sending: elevated cortisol, low energy, withdrawal, and adjusting their position. They turn themselves into the most helpful thing they can be. Warm, close, still, present. 10. They check on you, again and again. This is one of the most precise and most overlooked behaviors dogs show during human distress. They come over, stay for a moment, leave, and then return. Not once, not twice. Throughout the day, for as long as the hard moment lasts, they keep coming back. Minutes apart, sometimes hours, the timing shifts, and each time, they adjust based on what they find. When your distress is strongest, the check-ins happen more often and they last longer. When you begin to settle, when your voice softens, when your posture shifts, when the chemical signals of stress begin to ease, they change too. They become slightly lighter. The tail moves a little where it was still before. The approach carries just a bit more energy. They track your recovery as closely as they tracked your pain. And in between those check-ins, they're not ignoring you. They rest nearby, one ear turned toward you, a partial state of awareness that keeps you within their focus, even when they seem to be lying quietly. They're watching over you, all day, without ever being asked. 11. They're locating themselves between you and the world. This one most people never consciously know down. But once you know to look for it, you will see it on every hard day. When you are sad and you settle somewhere, the floor, the couch, the edge of the bed, your dog doesn't just sit beside you. They sit between you and the entry points in the room, between you and the door, between you and the hallway. This is not accidental. It is not random. Research on dog protective locating shows that bonded dogs consistently place themselves between their primary human and the nearest potential point of approach when a human's anguish signals are elevated. They are not responding to an external threat. There isn't one. They are responding to the specific vulnerability signal that your effective pain broadcasts. And their response to that signal is to close ranks, to get between you and whatever might come next. On your hardest days, your dog becomes your guard, quietly, without ceremony, without any request from you. They locating themselves at the threshold, and they stay there, glancing back at you periodically to check that you're still okay, then returning their attention outward. They watch both directions at once, monitoring you from behind and the world from ahead. That is not an animal that does not understand. 12. They stop eating normally. This is one of the most striking things documented in the research, and almost no owner ever connects the dots in real time. When you're deeply sad, when your anguishes is significant and prolonged, your dog's appetite changes. Highly bonded dogs show measurably reduced food interest and altered eating behavior during periods of owner emotional pain. They approach the bowl. They look at it. They often walk away. And the reason is physiological. Your dog has been in your space, breathing your air, reading the cortisol in your sweat and breath and skin. The stress chemistry they have been absorbing through their olfactory system has been entering their own nervous system. The cortisol they have been reading all day begins to suppress their appetite through the same mechanism that elevated cortisol suppresses appetite in any mammal under stress. They are not refusing to eat to prove a point. They're being physically changed by what you're going through. And when you begin to come back, when your signals begin to normalize, when the acute anguish's signature starts to fade, their appetite returns alongside yours. They are not separate from what you feel. They are inside it, with you. Here is what all 12 of these behaviors actually mean, taken together as a system. Your dog arrives when you are sad without being called because they sensed you. They used 3 simultaneous sensory systems, olfactory, auditory, visual, to build a complete and accurate picture of your emotional state before they ever moved. They press against you because your nervous system responds to that warmth at a measurable physiological level, and so does theirs. They place their chin on your knee and hold your gaze because they are monitoring you, reading the micro changes in your expression, tracking whether you're getting better or worse, staying present for the entire duration. They bring you an object because they want to give you the most valuable thing available to them, not to fix anything, to be with you. They reduce their energy to match yours because they feel what you feel, not as an expression of kindness, as a biological fact. They lick away your tears because they are reading the chemical story of your pain from your skin. And the contact is measurably reducing your cortisol at the same moment. They follow you closely everywhere, closer than usual, because when you're hurting, your safe base needs to be right there. They sleep pressed close to you because rest with physical contact produces a physiologically different recovery than rest without it. And they know which one you need. They check on you repeatedly, calibrating their behavior to where you are, watching your recovery as carefully as they watch your pain. They position themselves between you and the world because your vulnerability activated their protection response. They're not guarding against anything specific. They're guarding you. They offer you their toy because it is the most generous gesture available to them, and it is offered with nothing expected in return. And their appetite shifts because they are inside your pain with you, not observing it, inside it. The research on all of this is clear and consistent. Dogs are not passive witnesses to our emotional states. They are active, responsive, sophisticated participants in them. And most of us have been living with this level of presence and care and attunement, and calling it our dog being sweet, It is more than that. It has always been more than that. The next time you're having a hard day and your dog comes over without being called, receive it. Both hands. Real contact. Let them see you felt it. Because the comfort works deeper when it's received instead of just tolerated. And your dog gave a great deal to bring it to you. There is one more thing worth knowing, and it goes deeper than any single behavior. Your dog's ability to read and respond to your emotional pain is not an accident of domestication. It is the result of a specific, targeted evolutionary pressure that operated for approximately 15,000 years. The dogs that survived, the dogs that were kept, the dogs that were fed and sheltered and brought into the inner circle of human life were the ones that could read us. Not the fastest, not the strongest, the most attuned. The dogs that could detect the difference between a stressed human and a calm one, between a threatened human and a safe one, between a grieving human and a happy one. Those dogs were more useful to the humans they lived with, and so they were kept, and they bred, and their offspring were kept, and they bred. For 15,000 years, natural selection applied persistent pressure on a single trait, the ability to understand what a human is feeling. Your dog is the product of that pressure, and the result is something with no parallel in the animal world. Research has documented that dogs show a left gaze bias when scanning human faces. They preferentially look at the right side of your face, which is controlled by the left hemisphere of your brain and expresses more genuine, involuntary emotion. Dogs do not show this bias when looking at other dogs or other animals. Only a human faces. They evolved a specific adaptation, a scanning pattern, optimized for reading the emotional truth in your expression. They read your face the way a skilled therapist reads a client, tracking micro changes, registering tension, responding to shifts you may not even be conscious of. And the longer you have been together, the more refined this becomes. A dog that has lived with you for 5 years knows the difference between your regular tired and your sad tired, between your standard quiet and your withdrawn quiet. They have built a database of your emotional patterns over thousands of shared hours, and they use it. Every hard day you have ever had, your dog was gathering data, calibrating, adjusting, building a more and more precise map of how you specifically look and smell and sound and move when something is wrong. Here is what this all means in the most honest terms I can offer. When your dog comes to you on a hard day and presses their body against yours and holds your gaze and stays for as long as it takes, that is not a simple animal doing a simple thing. That is 15,000 years of evolution arriving at your side to be with you on purpose in the most biologically sophisticated act of empathy available to any non-human animal on Earth. And it has been happening every time. Every hard day, every quiet crisis, every moment you sat on the floor and didn't call for anyone and they came anyway. They came because they were designed over millennia by the accumulated pressure of every human who ever needed something and found it in a dog to come. That is what you have been living with. That is what walks through your door with you every night. If this changed how you see the animal that is with you right now, tell someone who loves their dog the way you do. Subscribe to Dr. Buddy for more of this. And the next time you are having a hard day, let them in. They've been trained for it for a very long time.